Welcome to the latest episode of Platform. Today, we're going to be speaking to Luke Naylor. Now, I don't actually know a lot about Luke. I think the first edit I've seen was the first one that he had just before he got a pro wheel from Securithane. And I remember being quite surprised that he was already getting a pro wheel when, basically I knew so little about him. But I know that he's been absolutely killing it on the real street circuit for quite a few years now. And in 2019, he brought out a really good section called Rabbit. He also had clips in Valo 6. I think he might even only have had one clip or two, can't remember. And just recently, he released Rotation with Brian Weiss and Dakota Hult. And it was a local Detroit crew video that was really cool. And he had the last section in it. Basically, the guy can jump really high, loves a kink rail, loves a gap. And I kind of feel like we haven't seen what he's fully capable of yet. In real street events, he does just insane tricks like hurricanes down steep ass handrails. And then in sections, I've never kind of seen that level of skating from him. Seen great skating, creative skating, but I just feel like he's not kind of linked up with the right videographers yet, or he kind of seems like the guy that makes sections and just gets all his friends to randomly film and then compiles it all and puts it out himself. So basically just want to talk to him about, the Detroit scene and how it's going these days, because it seems like it's quite small. Either that or I'm just seeing a really small fragment of it. But it seems like they've got quite a small crew that are going about the city these days. Talk about that. Talk about his sponsorship situation, because I think he's been Flow for Valo before, and I think he's currently getting hooked up by them, but I'm not entirely sure. So we'll talk about that. What's going on with his other sponsors like Securithane. Basically, just try and find out as much as possible about him. And yeah, it's really interesting to speak to someone that I'm not as familiar with, because I feel like there's more opportunities to learn stuff. Before we get into that, though, cue the music. The platform. The platform. The platform. The platform. How you doing, man?
Good.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Is
Can you
that
hear me?
Yeah? Is that a muzzle hat you're rocking?
Yeah.
Is Sam hooking you up as well? He seems to have a fetish for American rollerbladers.
Oh no, I actually bought this.
All right, okay.
I just dug the hat. It's actually my favorite hat. Fits well. That's the biggest thing for me.
So we're 60 seconds into this and we've already got a free promo for Muzzle. Sam's going to be delighted.
Yeah. Yeah, I like his stuff, man.
He's because he's before when he was doing Dirtbox, I don't know if you remember that. He used to just basically send free product to everyone, and it seemed like no matter who I spoke to, where they were from in the world, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, Sam just has been sending me packages." So I was wondering if you're one of the people on his long list of getting freebies.
Oh no. Yeah, I've been buying it.
All right,
I buy
okay.
a lot of stuff.
How's life treating you in Detroit Rock City? I've been desperate to say
good.
that. I forgot to say it in Brian's, so I'm just I'm happy that I get to say it now.
Oh yeah, it's pretty cold actually. We just got a cold spell. It snowed 2 days ago.
No way. All right.
Yeah, and then last weekend it was warm. So it's all over the place right now. Our spring is pretty inconsistent, I would say.
Is that common for Detroit for it to snow this late in the year?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It comes and goes though. It might be cold right now, but next week it could be in the 70s.
Right.
It's very inconsistent.
Yeah. So you guys have got even weirder weather than Scotland. That's pretty crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We get all the seasons and a few in between. We call it third winter right now.
Jesus. Right. Okay.
There's pre-spring, and then there's third winter, and then there's spring. But that should be coming up soon.
Right. That explains why it's harder for you guys to be productive in the streets then, because you get such a small window to do it.
Oh yeah. Um, and it's always weird after like not street skating all winter and then trying to like remember where all your spots are, or like things
Oh
will
God.
change over the winter and it'll just be different.
Right. So you guys don't go like the Minnesota route and skate in the snow and just shovel up a runway and a landing.
Oh man, yeah, I don't know about all of that. If I was more motivated or if other people were into it, I might go for it. Um, yeah, yeah. I see Chris Farmer doing that,
Yeah,
just shredding in the snow. I mean,
in his
I
mid to
think I'm
late
crazy enough
30s.
to do it. It's just like who wants to go out with me? And
No,
I
no
don't know.
one, no one is the answer. No one wants to go out with you in that weather.
Yeah, I think Brian will probably do it. He shot some photos a couple years ago for one, like straight up in like February. Um, him and Chris Gerard did it and crushed it.
Okay.
But yeah, you just gotta be into it. Gotta be
Yeah.
motivated.
Yeah. Even in my teenage years, I think if it was raining, I'd be like, yeah, I'm still up for going out. Or if it was windy, I'd be like, yeah. But if there was several inches of snow on the ground, I'd be like, nah, not today.
Yeah. Plus we have modern. Like,
This is true. You've got that massive, really nice skate park. Yeah.
yeah, it's great. I actually just moved. I was in Royal Oak for a year renting a house from my cousin, and I was like straight up like 8 minutes away from the skate park, which was sweet.
Royal Oak, isn't that where Michael? Oh God, what was his name? Um, we had him on the front cover. Oh, uh, oh,
Mikey Blair.
that's the one. Is Michael Blair not? Did he not live in Royal Oak for a while?
I don't know if he lived in Royal Oak. I know he's from the west side of the state.
Okay,
I think Grand Rapids is where he's from.
right.
Because I used to live in Kalamazoo, which is like 2 hours west, and I skated with Mikey a few times.
Okay, that name just seemed familiar. So someone must have brought it up before, either Brian or Michael. I can't remember who. I haven't spoken to that many guys from Detroit. So,
Yeah,
huh?
yeah, I know you talk with Brian a lot, and yeah, that was the first platform episode I watched was Brian's.
Okay. Well,
I
no
watched
pressure. You're the second Detroiter on here, and Brian's
Yeah,
was a good one. So no
Mhm.
pressure, but I'm expecting big things.
Yeah, yeah. You got to get China on here or
I
Coda or C.
I tried so hard. I have tried for.
Yeah.
I've tried to get an interview with her for at least 2 years, and
Oh
then
man.
she won't even like reply to my messages. And then I
Yeah.
thought I'd go the Al Delega route, so I was like, "Oh, Al, put in a good word for me," da 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 da, like sweet talker. And he's like, "No, she's not. Like, I'm not going to be able to make her do it either. She just doesn't want the attention."
Yeah. She's a little more reserved for sure. Yeah, definitely.
Yep. So
Um,
yeah,
so good at skating though, man.
so good. That's why it's annoying. That's why I want her on. But if she's really
Yeah.
shy, then there's no point.
hmm
So rotations just came out recently. You had the Ender part in it.
hmm
How long did you guys work on that for?
All last year. So we started filming in I think April, and then probably went through to November. I want to say
Okay.
when we could, but I broke my elbow in September, so I was kind of out at that point. But Brian and Coda were still like stacking clips.
How did you break your elbow?
I was actually skating in Port Huron. I was skating this down rail with Zach Savage and Hawk Trackler was actually filming. And I tried to like back fast slide this rail and I just straight up like clipped it on the way up. Like I jumped and my skate hit like the side of it and I
Yeah.
kind of just flew to the ground and
Okay.
just smacked my elbow.
So
And
as in broke the elbow or broke the ends off these two bits, because I've done that before and that's horrible.
it was a fracture on the radial head. So like
Right.
somewhere in here it just cracked. which I actually did that to my other elbow like 3 or 4 years ago at the King of Cleveland contest.
Okay.
Um, and then, of course, this is kind of weird, but at that comp this year, I actually fell really hard on my right elbow, and I thought I broke it, but I didn't. And then a couple weeks later, I actually broke this one. It was just, I don't know why, just my elbows in that contest just don't go well together.
I think people have just got areas that they regulate their like the danger zones for their body. They just always hit them because mine is always like my hips and my thighs. Like without fail, I will always have either bruises or cuts on those areas.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for me, I guess it's my elbows. So.
Right.
It doesn't happen too often, but those are the only time I've ever broken a bone was those two. Ever in 15 years of skating.
Well, it didn't seem to slow you down because you still had like what was pretty much like a 4-minute part. Yeah, well, you had the ender part in the video.
It was actually short, man. It was only like 2.5 minutes.
Was it? All right, okay. I suppose because Brian's was quite big at the start.
Yeah, Brian got the most clips for sure. And yeah, it was just kind of like the song I chose was short, so I kind of just had to improvise with that. I had a little bit more footage, but I just wanted to use like the stuff I like the most.
Okay.
Yeah, it was short.
I only watched it yesterday. I don't know why I've got such a like distorted vision of how it was. Brian's section quite surprised me. Normally Brian goes like really tech in because he obviously filmed a section for Wheel Scene, and I remember his part in Feet and in his Vibrox section. And normally he's always coming out like the really difficult combos. And in this one, it seems like he went for like the stripped down like basic like the chill.
Yeah, it was more laid back. Yeah. But I think that was just like the way we filmed it because like the whole video was just us hanging out. It wasn't like there wasn't any pressure there to really like film like the best part ever. You know, we were just kind of having fun hanging out. And yeah, I felt like it was good for him to do that because he is always trying to like push the bar and
definitely
groundbreaking stuff. But yeah, I thought it was good. It was very laid back and like it kind of showed a little bit more of his goofy side, which I wanted to show people because he's like one of the funniest people I've ever met. Like, amazing sense of humor. Like,
so was the intention to always make a video, or were you guys just randomly gathering footage, like filming each other, and then after a while you're like, oh, we've got quite a lot of stuff here?
I think we kind of decided on the video early on. But like maybe the first couple sessions we were just stacking, and then we wanted to do the video like I think 2 years ago, and then we all just kind of like we're just kind of figuring out how to film well, and we all just wanted to do online parts in 2019, and then this year we were like, okay, we got our stuff together, let's do the video, and yeah, it took a while to put out too. We had kind of like the way Coda like captured the footage was a bit weird. He kind of just sent us like everything in one long video. So it was hard to like organize it, and I actually had to go through and like chop it all up.
Yeah, that's
I don't want
painful.
to brag on Coda, but like that's what made it take longer.
That's not the way to do it. Like you want the individual files because that's just adding another step to the process.
Oh yeah, he has like a Sony FX7, so it was like film. So he had to capture tapes, and yeah, I don't think his computer has internet either, or something weird. So it was just hard for him to like get the footage to us how we wanted it. But I actually went through and literally chopped everything up and relabeled everything, and that took me like a day or two. But at that point, it was a lot easier to do.
Yeah, because I remember when I spoke to Brian and he's like, oh yeah, we've got a new project coming out. It's going to be like about 10 minutes. And that was before Thanksgiving, or I'm sure it was around Thanksgiving. And he's like, oh yeah, it's coming out like, anytime soon. And then that didn't come out for months.
Yeah, he was going to do it. And then he just like got super busy with like work and whatnot. And he kind of like made something and then like looked at it and was like, oh man, like this is not how I thought this was going to turn out. And like his vision was different. And then I kind of was like, well, I'm on unemployment. I'm not doing anything. I just broke my elbow. Like, let me do it. And I kind of like just started editing it all. And then I just went back and forth with Brian about what changes he wanted in the parts. And same with Coda too. Like I showed him a few different cuts, and then we just kind of all as a team talked about what we should change.
Okay. So were you working
versions of it?
Right. So were you working before coronavirus? Is that like the reason why, or like was that the reason why because you said you were on unemployment, or was that?
So I was a chef at a banquet hall. It's right. In Rochester Hills, Michigan, which is like one of the nicer suburbs, and it's a university town too.
Okay.
It's this school called Oakland University, and we just like catered weddings and stuff like that. And then when the coronavirus hit, I've had no work at all, and they've just kept me on unemployment like the whole time. Like I've been getting paid since March 2020.
That's good.
I haven't had to work. I'm going back at the end of the month. And we're just doing small stuff now.
Yeah.
But it was, I've had like a great time because I've been getting all this free money. And I haven't had to do anything other than skate. And it's been great.
Yeah, on a work sabbatical to be like people normally save up money to take time off like adult life to go and rollerblade, and you know the world just handed it to you instead. That's all right.
Yeah, it's wild. I would have never ever expected anything like that to happen, and yeah, it's funny because like Coda like never stopped working. Like he's been working his 9-to-5 job the entire time. So he looks at me and he's like, "Oh God," you know, like. You can't wake up at 9 in the morning and come skate, you know? And I'm like, I sleep until 11, man. What do you mean?
Like, yes. So about your part, I loved the like ledge roll in to Street Gap. That was one of my favorite ones. I liked the full cab alley wall ride on the weird, like some of the objects you guys get, I'm just so jealous of because they're so weird and random. That like pyramid wall ride thing that you skate. And then the fence hop, it was like a fence hop, like misdirection topsoul. So you're going one way, bash the fence, come back and topsoul the ledge. Yeah, I was loving those. It's very rare that you get a clip that like surprises you, like when the clip starts and you watch it and you think one thing's going to happen and then like it just goes completely differently. Like when you hit the fence, there was no way I thought you were going to hit the fence to then grind the ledge afterwards.
Oh yeah, thank you. Appreciate that. That spot was in Detroit, and we used to skate it for Friday night skate back in the day. And then they actually put that fence up, so everybody was like, "Okay, it's not a spot anymore. Now there's a fence in the way." And yeah, we were just sessioning those little like green rails. I think Brian just posted a clip. He like jumped in between them to zero born down one of them.
Okay.
And like that's all at the same spot. And I actually like saw Parker Richardson do that, and his like dead wheels edit. He like went up a bank and kicked a fence to top.
Oh yeah. So he does. It's like a wall rail. Yeah.
Yeah, that popped in my head when I saw that, and I was like, I'm gonna give that one a go. And
that was also a very good
shout out Parker for that because that part was so good.
Yeah.
That's what gave me the idea, honestly, was hitting a fence to grind.
Right. Yeah, that was.
The other stuff, like the ledge roll and the alley wall ride, were in Port Huron, which is like a port town. It's kind of on the east side by the water.
Okay.
That's where it's kind of around where Luke Rappa is from. I don't know if you ever heard of Luke Rappa.
I don't think so.
He's another skater from Michigan who has the same name as me, is the same age, and he rips too.
Right.
yeah, you should maybe check his stuff out if you get a chance.
Luke Rappa. So like
Yep.
Rappa.
Yeah, he's Raptar on Instagram.
All right.
But yeah, he shreds, man.
Okay.
He's from Algonac, which is like by Port Huron.
Yeah.
But he showed me a few spots out there that were sweet.
So did you travel like much for the video, or is it mostly filmed in just Detroit and like surrounding areas, or like, easily to commute to areas?
We actually drove around a lot.
Right.
Uh, Brian lives in downtown Detroit, and at the time I lived in Royal Oak, and Coda lived in Ferndale, so we were like north of Detroit and kind of the suburb area. And yeah, I'd say maybe like half of it was in Detroit, but we did drive to other cities because we just wanted some fresh spots. Basically, we went to Port Huron. Then there's Pontiac, Michigan, which is like the ghetto of the North, I guess you could say.
Okay.
It's kind of northern. It's like Detroit's down here, and then there's like Ferndale, Royal Oak, Madison Heights, and then north is like Rochester Hills and Pontiac. And like Pontiac's kind of hood, like downtown Pontiac. It's pretty ghetto up there, so there's a lot of cool spots over there, and it's probably like 30 minutes north of where Brian lives.
Right.
And then we actually went to Toledo, Ohio, too, for a day.
Okay.
That's where Brian got his ender, like that grass roll to soul grind,
Yeah.
which was crazy. Like he talked about doing it, and I was like, "What?" And then he just went for it, just straight up rolled on grass.
Yeah. And Medina told me when Brian went out like to stay with him in Texas and filmed in such a short period, he was like, basically, you can take him anywhere and he'll just deliver. He's like just that guy that, yeah, any spot, like switch, natural, doesn't matter if it's tech. He's like, God, if it's a bigger trick, he'll just keep, if he gets hurt, he'll just keep going. And I was like, yep, kind of. And then when they showed me the section, I was like, yep, that it definitely seems like that. Okay, right, fair enough. So that doesn't surprise me at all.
He's the man, dude. Yeah, he's probably like the best street skater in Detroit, definitely right now. Like he can manhandle spots. Like,
he's amazingly underrated. Why? Yeah,
right, dude. Like I don't know. I know me and China are tight and we're good, but like I see Brian as like the best skater in Detroit, honestly.
Okay. You mentioned China. I was going to ask about her. Why wasn't she in the video?
I think she's been going through a lot with a knee injury. Like she has a very serious knee injury.
Right.
So she actually hasn't been skating as much as she wants to. But I don't know, like I don't really skate with her that often. Coda skates with her more than I do, but she kind of like I don't think she really likes filming street that much. I don't know.
She's made a bunch of street sections,
but she I feel like she would rather work with like Al.
Okay.
That's they kind of have their own like thing going on as far as like filming her parts. So I don't really know. I think a lot of it just had to do with the injury.
Right.
Would like to film China more. The last time I did was when we filmed that 909 Detroit edit.
Yeah.
That was the last time I like really got clips with China, and I think we were all just super hype on the skates, really. And yeah, Coda was like, "Yeah, we're making this edit," like, and he just planned it all out, and we crushed it that day. That was a great day.
So are there different crews in Detroit that just, hang about like with each other? Because I kind of got the impression, and I don't know whether that's just from like the limited stuff I'm seeing on social media or the videos that you guys make, that there just weren't that many skaters in Detroit anymore, or like it wasn't that big of a scene anymore. Or is that just the impression I'm getting because you guys are
there's so many people in Detroit. It's actually crazy.
But they're not like, I mean, as in like other people making like videos and stuff like that.
There's a few other people that are actually like street skating and filming.
Okay.
I guess like our crew is probably the most well known. Because I don't know, we traveled a lot, went to like powwow and all that, and like most of us have competed in bitter cold. But yeah, there's this dude Matt Young who lives in Ann Arbor, which is like an hour away from here, also a college town, and he came out with a video of him and his friends. And then other than that, it's just kind of us. And yeah, I basically film everybody. And then
Right.
Al also films people.
When he's not building DIY skate parks, he seems obsessed
Yeah,
with those. Like it seems like he's putting all his spare money and free time into building these things because I just keep seeing
he
him.
loves it. He
Yeah,
definitely loves it. Um,
he seems dedicated.
oh, yeah, he definitely is. I think it's just what he likes to do other than like filming skating, really. That's just how Al's always been, man. He wants to like uh, help other people kind of do their thing. Because he used to own a skate shop, Octona, back in the day.
That's yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
So he's just passionate about skating and doing things for other people. Yeah, you saw Bish guys, right?
yeah, looks good. That was I was going to ask you about that. How come? How come it was just a Coda and Brian affair? Why did you not have any
It was
footage in?
right when I broke my elbow as
Right.
they started filming that. So
Oh, so
I was
they filmed that a while back then.
yeah.
Right.
They started filming literally like I broke my elbow and then I came out a few times to just like hang out at the skate park down there. And yeah, that's when they started filming that. Um, Actually, Coda and Al had already been filming it when Brian jumped in. So like it was originally like Coda and Al were gonna make a part, and then Brian just completely on his own just hit up Al about it, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm making something with Coda. You want to be part of it?" And that's how that went down.
Right. Because I was going to say, because Coda stuff in rotation was good, but the stuff in Bish Guys was like, it just felt like he looked a lot more comfortable in that terrain. Like he was getting a lot more
Mhm.
technical. And I'm guessing, does he come from like a park background or does he just prefer to skate? Because he looked a lot more confident in that environment than he does in the street.
I would say so. We all
Right.
kind of grew up in the skate park. I remember like being really young and skating with Coda. We actually made a video in 2010. It was called RMNSB. Our friend Scott Dada made it, and he had a section in that. And then he actually like quit skating, I think, from like 2015 to like 2018 or something. He just stopped skating altogether, and then he kind of came back. And yeah, he definitely skated different in that project. I felt like he kind of embraced more of his own style with more like technical moves.
Yeah, it was creative as hell, and he's got all those like cess slides into the back into the transitions. There was like fakey
Oh yeah,
fives getting thrown all over the place. Yeah,
he loves the garnish. We call it the garnish.
I like yeah.
Fake mode, dude. That guy's
That's
awesome.
it's like the ultimate level of showing off. Like you can do a tech trick or you can do a big trick, but if you can do like a little shuffle or something out of it, that shows that there's an extra level to it. It's basically just like yeah, it's extreme showing off.
Mm-hmm.
You're
Yeah,
like yeah,
he's good at that. And yeah, before it was done, Brian was like, yeah, I think a lot of people are gonna like how Coda skated because it's
yeah.
very like the new age style, lots of set slides and finessey kind of tricks. And I felt like he was into it more. I think he was more into Bish guys than he was like filming for rotation.
Right.
Because he's just trying to like come up and skating right now and do his thing. And yeah, he skated well.
Yeah, like when
He's getting better, and I would say also like we filmed rotation before Bish guys, so he had all summer of filming, and then that was kind of like started to get cold, and we all kind of were like, all right, let's make this happen before winter comes, and that kind of gives you that extra push to like film more.
well, plus he's had the training in all summer on the streets, and then once he gets back in the park, he's like ready to let
Yeah.
loose because you know all the legs are doing what you want them to do. The feet are landing in the right position. You're feeling confident on your skates. So yeah, of course It's going to go good. All right. Okay. Um, Before rotation, the last thing I'd seen of you was Valo 6, which I never thought Valo 6 was going to see the light of day. And
Oh my God, me either, dude.
I
But
definitely didn't. I was surprised to see a clip. You only had one clip
yeah,
in there, right?
yeah, literally that was
Yeah.
that.
But the clip that you had was fucked up. Like, there must have been like what,
That was a
15,
hard trick, man.
12 or 15 topsols, like, because you're basically doing like topsole hop, topsole hop, topsole over all those little, like, I don't know what you would call them, bolts or joints or whatever. That was, no one would see that and go skate spot.
Oh yeah, I was in Brooklyn, New York. We were all
I
there for
thought
the
it was in New York, right? Okay.
and yeah, I think it was like 7 topsols. But I actually saw a skateboarder skating that spot. We were just hanging out, walking around Brooklyn, and the skateboarder like he did like a back tail and then like bashed the stairs.
Right.
And I was like, "Whoa, that spot's sweet." And kind of like when I was a little bit younger and I started street skating, I wanted to like skate spots that I knew like no skateboarder could touch. Like I don't know, it's kind of a funny thing to say, but like I always wanted to like really push it that way. And that mentality kind of hit me there. I was like, I want to do like the entire rail, jump over all these weird caps.
Yeah,
And,
no skateboarder is doing that because it's, yeah, I'm pretty
it
sure
would just be like
that's physically impossible on a skateboard. Yeah.
and we were all hanging out. I think it was a day or two after the comp, and
So
actually,
was it after
it.
was it after like a Boshy Pope skate off or?
Yeah, it was
Right.
like a day or two after. I think it was Monday. It was the Monday after, and they were actually talking to Brian. I think like Victor or B Free or somebody was talking to B Weiss, and we went and linked up with them just to hang out and skate a little bit. And yeah, I just kind of was like looking at the rail, and Yvonne was like, "You gonna do it, dude?"
am I,
Girl, you know?
yeah, do I need to get set up? What's going on here? Yeah.
Yeah, and it was a struggle, man. I ate shit a bunch of times.
I'm not surprised. That looks like the kind of thing that
like it was rough, but
did you split it?
no,
Right.
just hit it. I got like a bruise. But yeah, all those dudes there were like juiced me up. Victor and B Free were like tell me how to do it. They were like, you got to look at the end of the rail and kind of just go through it. And yeah, I was so stoked when I landed it, and it was just cool to be around all those dudes. It just kind of happened naturally.
So like how many attempts or like how long do you think it took to do that? Because that doesn't look like the kind of thing that gives it up easy. That looks like you have to earn it.
Trying to remember, probably like a good like half hour at least. Right. But like I just kept going for it, so I was like, I want to get it done, and yeah, probably like a half hour.
That's not that long. Okay.
Maybe an hour. I don't really remember exactly how long it took, but yeah, I remember Broscow said something too. He was like, I could do that, but it would take me too long. Like, I just thought it was crazy.
Well, I mean, you know, there's very little that he can't do on the streets. So yeah. Like, him saying that is kind of like, you're like, yeah, well, we know.
Yeah. I feel like he would want to do it like so like perfectly, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah. And then John Vasuki backsided this other rail there just straight up through all the knobs, which was nuts. Like just smashed them, like, which was crazy.
Yeah.
That was like one of the first times I skated with that dude too, and he's nuts.
Yeah, he's
very unpredictable skater for sure.
Yeah, he seems like another person that will literally just try anything just to see if it's possible.
Yeah, his trick is crazy too, man. Like through the knobs was insane. Like,
so were you ever like skating for Valo? Because I felt like there was a period where every time I saw you skate, you had a different pair of Valo skates on. So I didn't know whether you were buying them or whether they were just like hooking you up with like free product, or was anything going on there?
No, I actually was not getting hooked up on Valo. I think at the time he was sending Don skates. And like I was just probably like just on the verge of trying to get onto Valo, and like I got that clip for them, but that's when I think he started transitioning into them skates. But when the Sean Dar skate came out, that's when them started hooking me up.
I was going to ask about that
Both
because
through Modern too. So like Zach, who does all the ordering for the rollerblade stuff at Modern, he sent him an email and he was like, "Yo, can Luke get some skates?" And then every time they order, they hook me up with a pair.
right. So because you and China are getting free skates from them, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, I'm just through Modern. He like sent one pair to China, I think, through Modern, but she's like getting them direct now.
Okay.
I think she's more like, I guess, like a higher rank than me. I don't know. I'm just the shop flow kid at this point.
Hey, free skates are free skates.
I'm still stoked about it, man.
Plus,
I like what they're doing. I like the skates. Most importantly, I'm not too particular. I don't like look down on anybody who doesn't skate them or anything. If the skates fit your feet, skate them. That's what it's all about. They're comfortable and they're perfect for my feet. So I love them.
Yeah.
No foot pain, no pressure points. It's all good.
Yeah.
But the Volos killed my feet. I'm not gonna lie. The Valo lights were rough on the toes.
You skated Valo lights?
Yeah, I skated size 7 Valo lights, and I took like a Dremel and I like dremeled out the toe of the carbon shell to make them fit.
I didn't know Valo lights had a toe. I thought Valo lights were open shell at the front, aren't they?
They kind of do. It's just like the very front of the shell. Like there's like a lace on top, but like just my toe would just kind of hit, like my toenail would hit like the very edge of it. So I had to shave that down and it worked pretty well. But they still kind of would hurt my feet.
Yeah, I used to skate the regular Valo shells and I've got massive feet. So I used to basically toe cut like the entire front section off to the point where it was just flat at the front, and it made the skate like degrade so much quicker.
Yeah, the shells get a little floppier. It reminded me of skating SSMs, because like I would do the same thing. I would like modify the skate boot underneath the skin, which I thought those ran a little bit bigger in size, but the 7/8 shell is perfect for me. So I'm like a true like 7.5. Like 8/9 shells are usually too big.
All right.
And the 6/7s are usually too small. So
yeah,
it's like literally perfect for my feet.
All right. So you're getting hooked up with free skates through Modern. Are you still skating for Sick Urethane?
Yep. Right. We're on kind of like a hiatus right now because of Corona, I think, really pushed our production back. So what would have taken 8 weeks to drop a wheel is now taking 8 months, which is just awful for us.
Yeah.
And we came out with those Andrew Broom wheels with like the super bullet profile, which I like wasn't a fan of skating a Mana Rocker, but I got a pair of Sola frames and I've been skating them flat on those, and they're amazing for flat rocker setups.
Right.
But right now, like, we don't have wheels. Like,
right. Yeah, I thought that because I didn't think
we got some new stuff in the works though. I think 2 new wheels should come out at the end of May. But yeah, production's just been bad.
Not that long. All right.
They've been taking forever.
Yeah, because I remember like I think it was the second ever section I saw of you, and it was your Pro Wheel promo, and I remember being like, okay, what? I just remember thinking, this is, I don't know whether I was like thought it was premature or random or what, but I think I'd literally seen like, I think it was your 2017 edit or something like that, or was that after?
That one got taken down, man. They even deleted me.
I looked for it. Yeah, I looked for it the other night and it's not there. And I'm pretty sure that was the only other thing I'd seen. And I was like, okay. And Sick have done that a few times. Like they've given wheels to people that, you know, I've just been lesser familiar with, or I didn't like, they gave one to Anthony Gallegos and I wasn't even sure that because I hadn't seen anything of him for like a while before that. I wasn't even sure if he was still skating. Then all of a sudden he's got a Pro Wheel. Were you surprised to get like to be offered a Pro Wheel, because you couldn't have been on Sick Urethane that long, and then they're like, hey, do you want your own Pro Wheel?
Yeah. Well, it kind of just happened naturally, I feel like, from my perspective. I met Kevin at the James Shore Memorial Session, and he just sent me a message and was like, "Yo, dude, I want to put you on our AM team and give you wheels." And then I want to say a couple years later, he was like, "Yeah, let's do a wheel." And for me, what really worked out was my sister does graphic design and she like crushes it and it's really, really good. So she made me that graphic literally in like 2 weeks, which like talking to Kevin, he said to get other people's stuff done like took months. Like, and she just did it in 2 weeks.
Yeah, well, because I imagine
That was
normally,
another side of it. Like,
right?
so I could get the graphic done, and like he actually liked it and was like, okay, this is going to work, and that helped kind of expedite the process. But yeah, I had a few parts, but my
Well,
Vimeo got deleted, so it's all gone. I had like a
yeah,
sweet Savage profile on there too, and I was bummed about. But a lot of that stuff was filmed with just DSLRs, which at the time I like just started to get into filming and I didn't understand like the difference between that camera and like a camcorder. And then I bought my first camcorder, I want to say in like 2017. And then I feel like from that point on, the filming has just gotten better. Um,
that's what I wanted to ask you about because I want to know what became of what was his name, the guy that made your pro wheel promo,
Kevin,
Kevin LeBeau, or what? Does he still
yeah, Kevin
skate?
LeBeau. He doesn't skate that much, but he still skates. He got a full time job as an electrician.
Right.
So I think he's works 5 days a week, and then he's on call on the weekends. So he just works so much, and then he comes out and skates, and he buys skate stuff all the time. I skated with him a couple weeks ago in Ann Arbor, but me and Brian always joke, and we say he's a healthy scratch because he like just like will bail all the time because he'll have something else going on.
Fair enough. Yeah, I've got a bone to pick with that pro wheel promo because I don't know
Yeah.
what he did with the settings or what was going on with the camera, but pretty much the camera is shaking in every clip. It's like he left
Oh
on
yeah.
the image stabilizer or something with a fisheye, but it is like I remember the first time I watched it being like, this could make you feel like dizzy.
Oh man, yeah, definitely got ragged on for the filming. Um, you know, but I don't know. I think he just kind of like just really just was doing it all himself, and he never really had anybody else to be like, okay, this needs to look like this. Which like I didn't even know either. I was just kind of like, point the camera at me, let's do
Yeah,
tricks.
yeah, it's one of those.
I didn't really grasp like that either when I was younger. And then like skating with people like Brian would be like, okay, like this is how you should film this, and he kind of showed me the way as far as filming good goes.
Right.
And
Who
then
made?
obviously we got better cameras because
Yeah.
the DSLR is not great for long lens at all because the zoom you don't really have it, and then fisheye like it's not as much of a bubble as like a giant 72 millimeter lens.
This is true. Who made
And
who made the 2017 edit? Because that had the same problem as well. That also had like the really violently shaky fisheye clips.
I think Brian filmed that one.
Did he?
I was skating the black and white Valos, right?
I just remember all the fisheye clips had the weird thing where the vignette kept moving about.
Oh yes, probably image stabilization because we filmed that with like I had literally the shittiest Rebel T1 camera that
Right.
I bought off my friend Paul for $100,
Okay.
and it had just like a Rakonen fisheye. It was just a very basic setup, and yeah, we were
It's
just
it's
figuring
it's,
it
it's
out.
all making sense now, right? The,
Yeah.
the the early days of picking up the camera and the steep learning curve.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
oh yeah, all like anything the first like 4 years I filmed looked like dog shit. So yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, now I'm like, fuck, why didn't I like use the homies VX? But I actually have a section on this filmed on the VX that came out in 2015. It was for the FID video. I don't know if you
Oh,
know
I've seen
FID.
that. Yeah, because I only discovered all weirdly, I only discovered all that stuff when you put it on your YouTube. Because I seen
Okay.
the FID one. Was that the one that had the hurricane topsail on the ledge? Was that one?
I think so.
And then because then you had the what's the Gato one or the
Oh, Donne Gato.
that's it.
Yeah, well, the FID video came out like way back when, and Zach, who runs FID, he refuses to put it on the internet. It's just like you have to have the DVD and that's it, kind of thing. So that
So
one,
you
like,
just went
not a lot
round him
of
and
people have
put your
seen that
section up
one.
anyway. Surely he's got to be
Yeah,
pissed about you just putting your section up.
yeah, I didn't. I never put it up though. I think you're thinking of a different part.
No, that it's on YouTube.
He
I
we filmed
watched
the
it.
street part
I watched
for FID.
whatever one has that name. I watched it on on YouTube today.
The Gato one.
Yeah,
Oh, that was just my video.
right.
His thing he filmed with the VX was like came out in 2015 and it was just only on DVD. It premiered at Motortown.
I'm sure you've got an FID section up on YouTube from I want to say it's from 2018.
Yeah, I have a Halloween one that we made. That was DSLR footage too, so it's probably shaky. And then I have like an old profile of me skating razors. That was like the first year
That's
I
it.
ever
I've
up
seen
with
that one.
them.
Yeah,
That one had a lot of VX footage. And then our buddy Andre, I think, had like a Canon 5D or something.
right. So is FID still going?
Yeah, it's still live, but it's gonna turn into another thing. But basically in the beginning it was me and Brett Urbis and our friend Nate and our friend Zeb. That was kind of the crew. And then we filmed the video and it was like Brett's like first official street part. And then he actually died like literally 2 months later.
Okay.
So he got hit by a car skating and died, and that kind of just washed us out. Basically, it made
Yeah.
us, yeah, things. A lot of things changed after that, and the crew is never really like the same. And we filmed like more stuff, but I don't think Zach ever like captured it and started editing all of it, and just kind of is just chilling on tapes right now. But yeah, after Brett died, it just kind of wasn't the same.
Well, yeah, like understandably as well. Like if you guys all started it
Yeah.
together, it's just going to bring back, yeah, just basically
Mhm.
just going to be make you sad, or it's a kind of painful memory essentially. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like that in the beginning. I mean, now it's a different energy. He still makes shirts and he wants to do another video, and we put Savage on the team, and then Savage had like a 1 minute part and it was pretty good. But he's just too busy right now to film because he works full time at Modern, and like he teaches private skate lessons there. He puts all the stuff on eBay for them, and he runs like all the rollerblading orders too.
Right.
So he's just so slammed he can't just like film a video on his 2 days off.
Yeah. So
But
do like do a bunch of bladers work at Modern, or do they have many staff?
it's just Zach at this
Right.
point. He's like the only one.
But
And he
it
literally
seems like they
he's
get a lot of
doing,
skate stuff in at the shop. No?
oh yeah, lots of it. And he straight up does all of like the most important stuff for your rollerblading scene, and people
Yeah.
don't know that he like literally sells everybody their skates, teaches lessons to kids, like, and everything like that. So he's like doing some of the most important stuff for a scene that is just nobody would know. And like there are so many people that pop up at Modern. Like I was just there last night and there was like 4 people I've never seen before in my life rollerblading. Like there's actually a pretty healthy amount of people skating.
So
And
there's like
all of them buy their skates from Zach at Modern. Like
yeah.
he's the dude there.
So there's a decent skate scene, well, inline skate scene at the skate park.
Oh yeah, especially in the winter. Like it's always kind of been like an indoor skate park thing. That's what draws people in. Is it's the middle of winter and they go to the skate park and they don't want to skateboard, so they're like, I'm gonna try rollerblading. And yeah, it's definitely there.
All right. No, yeah, because I would have thought more kids would want to get onto scooters, obviously, because
Oh
they're
yeah,
popular and their
definitely.
friends have them, and it's just a lot more accessible and easy to get
It's a
into.
lot. It's a lot of older adults, I would
Right.
say. A lot of people over 25, I would say.
Ah, right. Yeah.
There's a few kids here and there, but they're definitely like either like diehard kids or they're gonna quit in like a month, you know.
Okay. So, like you mentioned Zach Savage, did you guys like grow up skating together, or because he kind of seems
Yeah.
like he's got a bit of a different vibe to like the rest of the guys that you hang out
Oh
with?
yeah. He's I want to say 3 years younger than me.
Okay.
He's like our little brother growing up. Um, he started popping up around modern, I think, in like 2013, and he was just like this little grom, but he was super bad. He was like 13 years old, and he would like smoke cigarettes and just be like a little badass.
He
And
seems to have that kind of
yeah,
energy. Yeah.
oh yeah, and he was good, man. He could do like three souls when he was a kid, and he yeah, I kind of just like put him under the wing and started filming him, and I got him to film his first like street part, and he got on Razors
I was about to
Flow.
say, I remember he had a Razors part out online a
Mhm.
few years back. Did you film that, or I can't
Yeah,
remember who
I
filmed
made
it?
it, and then Vimeo deleted me.
I
It's just
see.
I like that part a lot. He really crushed it. It was right when he got those like light gray colored SLs,
Yep, I remember.
and yeah, he's like very naturally talented. Where like I always joke that like he doesn't try that hard because he just does things, and if like he has to like try it a bunch of times, he's like not he'll give up.
Right. Okay.
But like Brian will literally try a trick 59 times, you know, until he does it how he wants to. And then Savage just like he'll get it within 5 tries perfectly somehow. Like it's
Right.
wild.
Yeah, because he
Very,
seems to be.
very talented kid.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
because he seems to be getting a lot of recognition at the moment. Obviously, he got on Gods.
mhm.
I see he's been hanging about with the ghetto community guys quite a bit and going to New York and stuff like that and filming. And he's obviously now got a wheel with Gods as well. So it seems like, yeah, he's
Mhm.
kind of moving
He's
up the
on the come
ranks.
up.
Yeah.
Mhm. He yeah, the gods thing is funny because he was on Razors, and then Paul John came to Delta City, and I actually was talking to Paul about the God skates and how they were, and he actually like asked me if I wanted to skate for them, and I was like, at the time, I told him I was skating Volos, but I wasn't getting skates, and then he's like, you want to skate for gods, like, and I kind of like thought about it, and I was like, not really for me, but I
Yeah.
was like, dude, you need to
That
put Savage on. I was like, put Savage on. He's the perfect kid for your brand. Like he is like the perfect image for gods.
Yeah, you being on there would look a bit weird.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I don't really like the carbon skates. They make my ankles hurt. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, him being on it seems like, yeah, definitely a better fit. Yeah.
Yeah, and he like he met Frankie, and like him and Frankie are like boys. So he like it just worked out perfectly. Like that
Right.
whole crew and him vibe really well. And yeah, I think he might get a skate.
Really?
I think he might, yeah.
Oh.
I hope he does. I hope somebody from Michigan gets a skate. But yeah.
I'm still just so confused about the whole gods thing because Frankie's telling everyone it's skater owned, but it's very obviously a carbon boot and power slide make them. So I'm just so
Yeah.
confused about the setup about it, or whether they just buy the skates off power slide, or like
I think it's kind of like Vala was, I think, where
that's
it's like John was the manager, like the brand manager
yeah.
there. He like was in control, but Rose's like actually made the skates. I think it's the same kind of agreement that in there.
Yeah, that's
And,
it.
and
Kind of
like John
feels
kind of did the same thing where he's like follows like skater own and it's my thing, and it was a partnership. You know,
that's
it's the same situation as that. I feel like.
Well, that's not technically true because
Okay.
when John first started Valo, he had a Daily Bread interview and he openly admitted that Roses approached him and said, we want to start a brand and we want you to, like, you know, be in charge of
Okay.
it. So he was very open from the outset that Rosie's called the shots, but he was
Oh
in
yeah.
charge. He was in charge of the branding, the
Said that
imagery,
in
the
the
team.
beginning of all of 4 too.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it, which that video like changed my life.
But Frankie's very much said from the start that it's a skater-owned venture and that, you know, he's in charge.
Okay.
But I'm just like, I don't understand how you can be in charge when your previous sponsor is the one making the skates, unless it's like.
I'm pretty sure he makes all the decisions, I think.
Yeah, it
But
seems more like he's a
know.
brand manager than an owner.
Yeah. I don't really know what the whole deal is, but
Yeah.
I know that definitely Zach like had to communicate with Frankie directly to get skates. Like I know how that's how it was. Him and Tim are definitely running it.
All right.
I think he goes to Tim to get skates for sure, and then I think Tim actually like picked him up from Frankie when they were in LA. Because he actually got the wrong size skates, and then we had to meet up with I think it was Erod to get a different pair. But it was like between those 3 dudes, it was like Tim and then Frankie and then Erod, but like they got Zach's skates all together. Like they kind of like passed the skates around, I think. And then we happened to be in Long Beach and we stopped by at Erod's and got the skates for him.
Okay. That all sounds very confusing, but fair enough.
It was very confusing.
You kind of touched on it, but I forgot to ask why. So like Al's obviously been filming for years and is very like active in the blading community, and you know has filmed street sections with China before. How come Al's never filmed a section for you, or has he? And I've just not seen it.
It just never happened. Al, like I always worked with other people. Al did talk about wanting to do a Bishop part with me, which I would do it. But with Al, he's very like he just kind of has his own vision of things, and to like collaborate with him is a bit different because he wants to do it like kind of more his way. Whereas like all the people I work with, it's always been like 50-50, or like whoever's like skating calls the shots really.
Right.
So that's kind of why. And like I've never approached him to make anything, but
So
it'd be sweet to do it. I want to do it at some point.
So you just mean like as in you've got a kind of strong vision of the kind of music you would like to use, or the way you would like it edited, and
I'm pretty hard-headed about stuff.
Right.
And I'm the same way. So
yeah.
I don't know if we butt heads or like, but with the Bish guys thing, they all kind of like did it together. Like Al, Coda, and Brian were all talking about what they wanted to do. But yeah, I've never like directly asked him to do stuff for me, or like vice versa. But I don't really like talk to Al really that much. I see him like on Wednesdays when he does the Bishop sessions. Mm-hmm. Like I'll go skate when he tells everybody to come skate. But the only person I really hit up when I go film is Brian. Brian and Coda. And like Savage will hit me up to skate. And that's about it. I don't really go out of my way to skate with other people that much. But if somebody like wants to skate with me, I'll do it. And I like filming anybody too. I'm not like particular about who I film. I'll film anybody who asks me to film a clip.
Yeah, but you just like to keep the crew small. Like I think that's the kind of thing with most. As far as
like barb stuff, yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of people as you get older, like when you're younger, you'll literally just skate with anyone just because you're happy to have people to skate with. And then I think as you just get older, you realize who you get on better with, or you just have more fun with, or you have more in common with. And you just think, well, I don't want to have to try as hard to accommodate, you know, either a large group of people or people that I might not just have that much in common with or a shared interest other than skating. And then you realize who you're basically happy to travel in a car with for hours and, you know, actually can make conversation with.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely. Me and Brian are definitely the tightest as far as skating and filming goes. We get along the best, I would say. They're both just kind of on the same. We have like very similar like visions, I guess, of what we want our skating to be. And yeah, like even like with the camera, like I would rather film with my camcorder with the fisheye lens than Al's got some like other rigs. I think he has like a camera, but it's like 4K and like he just like films like 9 different angles of one trick, and I'm like, two is good for me.
You're like, I don't want to do this again.
Yeah, he's got more of like a cinematic vision,
Yeah.
and I'm
Yeah,
more
I
like,
think that's it.
I'm just a skater. I want to film it how like a skater film
Yeah,
it.
you look as if you're like more for like the rough and ready, let's get
Yeah,
this stacked. Yeah.
but maybe I need to get more particular, man, because my old DSLR parts are shaky.
I
But
just I was
all
I
the new
just think
stuff can be filmed good. So
right.
I got a new part already in the works. It's filmed good. So
You've got a
from
new
here on
part in the
out,
works.
it can be filmed good. Yeah.
How far into it are you? How much have you got?
Uh, Probably I want to say like 5 or 6 days filming. I want to do another video, but I kind of want to drop a part soon.
Yeah, I don't care how many days you've been filming. How much
Yeah.
footage have you got?
Oh, a couple minutes.
That's that's
Yeah, it's just this year, like so far. But I get kind of particular when I start editing. So I'm like, some tricks, I'm like, yeah, I don't care after like putting it in with everything else.
right. So you
But
think you
I
think
got
a
a few
lot.
tricks that I'm like really juiced about already. Like the other day, I did this switch sole to topsole at this like spot. It was on like a wall rail to like this windowsill ledge. And like, I don't know, anytime I can do something switch, like I get juice.
Yeah, my switch game's terrible. So yeah, anyone that can
I'm
do.
trying to get tight with it. It's like I've like you probably have to be very like nerdy almost to notice it, but like when I watch like Broskow's parts, he does stuff so well switch, you don't even realize it was switch. And like I always know immediately. I'm like, okay, that was switch. Like,
I'm
and Don
pretty.
would do it too. Don was really good at skating.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I've actually, it was only recently I've noticed that Brosco's got a slight chink in his armor, and I can't remember whether it's the True Acid or Alley Acid, but there's one, see the recent one that Greg Preston made? There's a line that he does, and I'm sure at the end he either does a True Acid or an Alley Acid, and it's definitely switch, and you can tell it's switch because it's not as steady as these other ones, and it's one of the few times that I've seen him do a trick where I've been like, you actually, like, you showed like a sign of weakness there. That is rare.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Don calls it raw. He's like, that was raw, if it's not like completely perfect.
Yeah.
Which I actually like it. I don't like when stuff's like way too polished. I actually kind of like raw skating because it has more character, I think.
It's quite funny you should mention that because I was talking about this with a friend the other night and basically saying how I appreciate the fact that Brian Aragon is technically very gifted and, can do incredibly hard tricks and can do really big tricks. But I just never got excited watching his parts because it was almost too clinical and too clean and too well landed.
It's perfect. Yeah.
Which is weird because you could say the same thing about Brosco's skating. Like everything he does is very dialed in and very very fluid. But yet for some reason, I find his skating very appealing, even though he is also very technical, also goes very big and lands his tricks incredibly cleanly. So it's kind of weird how you hold different skaters to different standards, or like they can have similar attributes, but it's packaged differently. So you appreciate it more or something.
Yeah, I feel like Broskow has like a different vision, and he's very like, I don't know, particular about the spots he skates. Where I feel like Aragon's was just trying to do tricks, but it's hard to say because Aragon stopped.
I
Like
think
if
the
Aragon
terrain has a lot to do with it as well. Yeah,
Aragon would have continued, his skating might have changed actually, which I think would be interesting. Like, what if Aragon got more like
got weird
tech or like new age with his skating, and he'd be so good at it. Like,
I mean, like, and he was one of those guys that no matter what he tried, he would get good at. So if he wanted to start doing toe rolls into all the grinds, he would have been able to do all the toe rolls. Yeah.
But yeah, it's nuts.
But yeah, it's just that was a funny like thing that came up the other day. So Well, you mentioned like your close friendship with Brian. I'm about to throw it into jeopardy in 2 minutes, but I'll ask you about something else first because we're going to segue into that. So
Uh,
I didn't know you as like the guy that made sections. I knew you as the guy that did really well at real street comps because I would see all these like competition montages and you always seem to be getting in like the top three or getting into the finals or like having big tricks at the finals. So like I'm guessing you must really enjoy skating in those types of events.
mhm. Yeah, I always like contests, but I'm a bitter cold kid, man. I grew up skating bitter cold. Like that was the first like taste of that I had, and yeah, I just like it a lot. Being like kind of put on the spot. I think I do well because like I do tricks that I like to do consistently, and I feel like that makes you place well.
Yeah.
And I tend not to get like caught up on just doing like the hardest trick I could do or like the craziest thing. I could kind of just do stuff. That makes any sense?
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. Yeah,
I feel like
because
consistency is very like that's what people like in a contest. You just land a lot of stuff and you don't fall a lot.
yeah.
That's kind of like most of it. I think that's why I do well.
So did you ever place like well in any of the better codes? Because I can't remember how you did in those.
I think I got like top five in the AM comp, and
Okay.
then I've skated the pro like qualifier round a few times, but I couldn't hang obviously with like the real pros.
But you've got top three in real street events, right?
Yeah,
I've not just
I
imagined
won
this. Yeah.
Dusty City. I won Windy City Riot. Haven't won King of Cleveland. Gotten second a few times, and then
You can cross that off this year. It's fine.
yeah, we'll see. And maybe I'll break my elbow again.
Let's not jinx that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna break my elbow. I'll be good.
Right.
Yeah, definitely won Windy City Riot. Oh yeah, and Motortown, but that's not really a street count. But I won Delta City and Windy City Riot.
Because I want to talk to you about Delta City Open. I think it was 7. Now I know Brian won that one, but I'm going to say that was a controversial win. And
Oh my god, yeah, people were just talking to me about this.
I love Brian. You know, Brian's probably one of my favorite skaters in America of the past decade. But you know, I don't know what happened on the day. I wasn't there, but according to the footage, you know, you hurricane topsoul and hurricane top acid did that steep ass rail, and he did back sav and true porn. And as far as I'm concerned, hurricanes beat true spin.
Yeah, I mean that's just kind of a final spot thing, but like as far as like consistency and how he skated all day, he definitely I think he took the win for sure. Because he destroyed that first spot. Like he was skating the sketchiest rail at that Levi's DIY spot. And it's like a bank to this rail with like a cap in it. And he did like 5 tricks on that thing, and it was terrifying. I didn't even skate it.
Right, so they judge it throughout the entire day. They don't just like you qualify to the finals and then it's whoever skates the best in the finals. It's the entire day.
Yeah, I remember being kind of like, whoa, I thought I won because I did those spin tricks. But after watching like footage, he landed a lot more stuff. And like another thing is when you're skating in the comp, you don't see like a good like half of the tricks you don't even know because you're doing your thing.
Yeah.
And like he landed like bangers at every single spot. And yeah, it was controversial because a lot of people talked to me about it. And it's really funny, but Brian told me
you guys have beef the next time you meet up.
And we're like, dude, you shouldn't have won, dude. And like Brian's like very yeah, he's not gonna forget. And you said that to him. He's gonna be like, "What the fuck?"
That's so funny. Yeah, I just thought it'd be really funny. Like the next time you guys meet up for a street session after that comp, and you're like, man,
yeah, we
I feel like I got robbed. And Brian's like, "Fuck you, I won. Deal with it."
Yeah, no, I saw him at a video premiere. This guy, I think his name was Victor. He filmed like this super old school Michigan video from like 15 years ago, and then it was like a 2-hour long video, and he had this premiere at Modern, and
a 2-hour long skate video.
Yeah, it was called Era, and it was like literally like
no one wants to watch a 2-hour long skate video.
Yeah, it was too long, but it was cool because it was like all the first like street footage in Michigan ever. Like there's like a lot of good Brian Murphy tricks and a bunch of older dudes from the 90s skating.
Right.
But I saw him there and like I went up to him and I was like, "Yo, dude, you won. Like it's cool." Like and like we kind of chatted about it and it was there was definitely like a little animosity there, but
Right.
me and Brian are great friends, so we just had a beer about it, and it was cool. But I thought he won. Like I
Brian,
don't.
if you're watching this, I apologize. I didn't know the full story. I didn't know. I didn't. I
Yeah,
swear, it's not my fault.
yeah, yeah. That was a good year, though, man. Everybody
That-
read.
like, yeah, and that last spot
Don
looked.
killed it too, man. Don
Oh
Ailey.
yeah, alley fish brain, the alley topsail. He did something else that was messed up. Oh, he did the in spin royale that he does on everything.
Oh,
Um,
he's so good at that trick, and I don't
like,
understand.
yeah,
Like, true front rail, like what? He can do it
yep,
on anything. Like
yep. I
and
was,
any rail, dude. Like
yeah. I was at
yeah,
a Roose.
it was me, Don, and Brian on the podium, which was sweet.
Nice.
Yeah, like those two are like my mentors and OGs right there. Yeah, Don hasn't been skating much.
That's what I was going to ask. Don's been kind of quiet the last couple of years, but I heard. Am I
Yeah,
right in thinking he had another child? Is that right?
yeah, he had a son, so he's got kid number two. He's not on Instagram either.
Yeah, he doesn't.
So like he's kind of just like doing his own thing. I don't think he really liked Instagram.
Yeah, he doesn't strike me as a social media guy. You don't really like. You've got social media accounts, but you're not. You're not that active on them either.
I don't like it that much.
I
I
don't
don't know.
blame you.
I watch it a lot. I'm always on there looking at other people, but like it's a little too much for me. Um, I don't know. I just like I'm not the most like sociable dude, I guess. I mean, I don't mind talking to people, but like it gets a little weird. Like when people you don't know send you like weird messages or like
it
I don't
can
know.
be intense.
It feels like there's pressure to like feed the Instagram, you know?
Yeah.
Like there's pressure to post, and like I don't like that. I want my skating to be on my own terms. But it's interesting because that literally kind of controls like people's standings and skating almost. But it
In
also
recent
like
years,
makes
yeah.
other people feel like they are entitled, which is also interesting because like some people get really frustrated and they are successful in social media but they don't have sponsors, you know, like so it's strange. It definitely makes skating feel weird.
Yeah,
but it's important at the same time.
It definitely is. It's one of these things. Yeah, like you said, it's really weird. Like people are now getting sponsorship and essentially ending up with things like pro wheels and pro skates off of their social media presence and having like viral clips or having like loads of followers, which you could argue is, yeah, it's like, is that a good thing or not? But then at the same time, it also levels the playing field because it means that someone from a country with no scene has just as much opportunity now to get sponsored as someone from a country with a big scene who has lots of friends who are connected to the industry. Because for such a long time, especially when I grew up skating, you couldn't really get sponsored unless you knew someone or unless you did really well in contests. There was only really two ways into like going pro. It was either having friends in the industry or having friends who were sponsored who would like set you up, or it was absolutely ruining everyone at major contests. And now it feels like it's kind of cheated that system, which some could argue is a good thing because it means, you know, if you're good enough, it shines through because, you know.
Oh yeah.
But yeah,
I think it's good. I think it's good, man. Because it also like appeals to non-skating masses, you know, because like everybody's on Instagram, whether or not you skate, and like
exactly.
I think it's a great way to like showcase skating to other people. And I feel like with rollerblading, it just has had a lot of like I don't really want to say bad, but like weird or bad representation.
It's had
you know?
Yeah.
It needs that good representation to kind of give people a better like opinion on what it is.
You're allowed to say it's had bad representation. It has had some
Yeah.
really corny, cheesy representation over the years.
Oh yeah. And it's like it's strange, but I think it's a good thing, man. I love that like people like Bobby like kills it and
That's what I
like
mean. Like
he's
random guy from
amazing
Israel.
at social media and just
Yeah,
like literally just slays it. And he got his pro skates and he's doing his thing. And I think it's cool. And I think there's a lane for everybody in skating now because of that.
yeah,
It's actually something Sneaky told me when I was in Oregon randomly, but he was like, "Yeah, there's a lane for everybody in skating," and like, I feel like that's almost a newer thing for everybody of a different like kind of vision to be able to be successful, you know. And it's good that people like Bobby can do his thing, and even like Robbie Pitt, somebody who a lot of like people like look down upon his skating because it's not like this thing, but I think it's great that he can be successful
yeah.
regardless of
It's not
that
like
because it's
traditional.
something
Well,
different, you know.
yeah, yeah. I know what you mean because it's not like traditional aggressive skating, or it's not what people
Yeah,
perceive to be traditional aggressive skating. Yeah,
I think we need that to progress our sport, man. We need different things to be.
definitely. Yeah,
Um,
I
and I
think.
think I think every you don't have to like it either. You know, like Savage doesn't like it. He likes his vision of skating.
Yeah,
I'm
just
like
don't.
I like everything. I don't care.
Yeah,
But
if you don't
I think
like
it's
it, just don't
people.
follow them. It's pretty easy.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I know what you mean, and I definitely think this era of skating is it's one of the few. This has been one of the few times where you don't just have to like be like do exactly what everything everyone else is doing to get sponsored.
Mhm.
Because in the '90s, it was all about handrails. Like if you weren't a good handrail skater, you weren't going to get sponsored. And then when it got like into the like 2000s, early 2000s, it was like if you're not jumping off roofs and doing massive transfers and basically try to kill yourself, you're not going pro. It's just not going to happen. And then
Yeah.
throughout that there was like the sideline to there was the competition skaters who, you know, as long as they did well in competitions, they would get sponsored. But there was this kind of stigma attached to being a competition skater. Like you were
Mhm.
considered a park rat for a while, and it was really kind of looked down upon by street skaters. And that seems to have gone away as well. And it seems like now, yeah, like you're saying, there's so many different avenues that you can explore to go. Like you can be really tech and just skate little ledges and get respect for doing for just being really good at that, or you can be a
Mhm.
hucker and like throw yourself down stuff like Carlos Bernal or Sam
Yeah.
Crofts, like
Oh
who are
yeah.
taking like breakneck tech skating like really high level.
Yeah.
Or you've then get the guys that are just finessing the hell out of skate parks, like you said, like Bobby Spazov, who
Yeah.
he basically skates street like it's a park. Like
Oh yeah.
he just cruises and glides around everything. So yeah,
Mhm. Yeah, and then there's Danny Beard, dude, who just like you can't predict what that guy's gonna do. Like
you
he's
definitely
just
cannot.
on
Yeah,
another level of like doing things that have not been done or even just straight up like bizarre. You know, you're like, what? Like I
I'm
think
st-
that's great, man. I
yeah.
think it's
Oh
good
yeah, definitely.
pushing it and thinking outside of the box.
I'm still annoyed at him though. That the pro skate promo better hurry up and drop, because you know
Yeah,
those skates are going to be sold out by the time he drops the visuals for that.
yeah. I don't know what he's doing, but I'm sure it's coming.
I think he was saying that, you know, yeah, I think it was something to do like with the weather was bad in Canada, so that was stopping him filming the street. And then I don't think he had anyone to film or something like that, or he didn't have as many people to
Uh,
film. So
yeah, I don't know the whole
hopefully it's coming
situation.
soon. Yeah.
I'm sure it's gonna be good, and like I can't wait to see whatever it is because every time he puts something out, I'm like, whoa, like out there, man.
So you're a big that kind of surprises me with the type of skating that you do, that you're a big Danny Beer fan, because I would say you lean.
I like things that are different, man. But I
Yeah.
like everybody. Like I don't have like one type of skater that I enjoy or think is superior or better than anybody else. Like I try to like look at everything like as equal in a way.
So
Yeah,
who
I appreciate Danny Beer's skating. I like, Sam Crofts doing crazy stuff. Nick Lomax too. Like those guys are sweet. Then Brosco, everybody skates for them. It's very tech and films everything perfect. Like I like it all, man.
So who, like, you've said who you like now, but who, when you were like growing up and like in your, I'm guessing you started skating in your teenage years, like who were you into then? Like who were the early influences that you were like, oh, I want to be able to do what they can do?
Um, so I started skating in 2006. And a friend of mine threw a DVD in my parents' swimming pool. It's kind of a weird
Wait,
story,
what?
but
A friend of yours threw a DVD in your parents' swimming pool?
yeah. So I go outside one day, and I was probably like 11 or 12, and I see this shiny thing in my swimming pool, and I'm like, "What is that?" So I dive in and I pull it out, and it's this DVD, and it says M1 25 to
Oh,
life.
no way.
It was the
Okay.
M1 team video.
Yeah.
And so I go in my room. I had this like little tiny silver TV, and I put the DVD in because first I thought it was a CD, and I tried to listen to it and it didn't work. And
Right.
then I watched the video, and that was the first skate video I ever watched. So like yeah, it had like Frankie,
Dominic
Dominic
Sagona, Richard
Sigona,
Johnson, Damien
Char,
Wilson. Yeah.
Damien. That was like the first video that like I watched, and yeah, like Frankie stuff was sweet. And then other than that, it was just Shima, man. Like Shima skating was probably my favorite. And then I used to watch Leading the Blind on YouTube.
That'll do it. Yeah.
So yeah, like Shima, Happy, Brosco, and then like Frankie and Sagona. Like Sagona had that crazy section in there that was like super edited. And he's just got such sick style, man.
Oh,
Like,
yeah. Dominic
you
Sagona is
always,
one of my
I
favorites
always
of all time.
remembered his movements,
Yeah.
like he did like this alley porn, like rewind soul 180, and just like the way he did it was just will always stick in my head, man.
Yeah. Andy did it
Just
in
kind of
USD
admire
Legacies,
it.
and those are terrible skates to ride. So if he can do it in
Oh
those, he can
yeah.
do it in anything. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
Sakono's so sick, dude. And obviously Frankie just is a machine, man. Just do the craziest stuff easily, like true front salves on ledges. Like and the switch ups he did in that video were just nuts. Like so many crazy switch ups.
I mean, the switch ups he does in pretty much every section
Oh yeah.
is nuts.
So
Yeah.
good, man. Yeah, and that definitely a lot of Shima. And then I kind of watched a lot of Shima and Elliott too.
I
I
can see
like
the
John
Shima
Elliott's
influence. Yeah.
skating too because it was simple and like good, like really good.
All right. That makes sense. Okay. Hey, you mentioned Don and said that he's not been skating as much recently. Is he still skating?
Yeah,
Right.
uh,
Because he's not had any footage out, and yeah, it seems like
yeah. I have probably the last clips he filmed.
right.
Um, I filmed them. I want to say in like 2018, 2019, maybe.
So
He like
that's
backwards its rail through a cap. It was super cool. And then I sent him the clips, and he was like, "I'll take them," but like I don't think I'm gonna do anything with these. And yeah, I have clips of them, and that's probably it.
right.
I don't know. He's skating Coda's old gray 909s.
Okay.
Yeah, Coda gave him two pairs of skates.
So is he still coming out much, or
Not really.
yeah?
I think a lot of it has to do with Corona, and he doesn't want to skate inside modern. I talked to him a while ago, and he said he's down to skate outside, but he's just the kid's a newborn.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah,
I
yeah.
think he's staying at home with the kids, and his wife Melissa's working. I think that's the situation. So he actually is like busy all the
Yeah.
time. And yeah, he like works on his house a lot too. So I think he's just got a lot going on.
No, that's
And
fair enough.
yeah, he's done so much, man. Like
Oh yeah, he
yeah,
is.
I think he's enjoying just like kind of settling down and being a family man. I think he loves it right now, and that's what he's into.
Yeah. Yeah, he has nothing left to prove in bleeding. Like he has an
Oh, he's
incredible back catalog of
yeah,
sections.
amazing stuff. Uh, I always enjoyed skating with him too. He had a good attitude and good vibe to him. Yeah, and like just his vision of like creative skating was like he was ahead of his time for sure.
Yeah,
I
he's
think,
got some very creative tricks. Yeah.
and especially like it's wild that he was on razors at the time he was, because you could tell he was just different, man, than the rest of the team, and he just had his own vision. And like I think a lot of Detroit skating was influenced by him, and like that's like growing up, I always loved, like he was another person I watched a lot, and I just love like the tricks that he chose to do because they were always like just different. He said in interviews, nothing standard, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I was always really, yeah, I remember after like the whole mind game thing ended and he ended up on razors, and I always remember being like, that's a really weird fit. Like, if anything, I thought it would have made more sense for him to either end up on Shadow or Valo, because both of them tended to celebrate and promote skaters that, you know, weren't following the most obvious trail in skating and just doing the whole like, you know, hammer switch up, hammer switch. Like he did seem to have something different about him, so it did seem like a strange fit. And you know, it wasn't.
He kind of did both though. He did throw down like big gaps still, like even when he was skating razors.
But he was always like, he always had like surprises or elements of surprise in his sections that you didn't tend to see from many other riders on the razors.
Yeah, he had the attention to detail. Then everybody, I feel like everybody now is very into that, like just having good attention to detail. And like he was doing that like literally in 2008, you know, and now it's cool and everybody's doing it. So I still just think he's ahead of his time, man.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And it's great. But other than him, man, Brian, oh my God, Brian's so good, and he's been so good forever. Like some of his old stuff, like I think it was The Second Coming, his section in that like was insane. Like he would just do big stuff. And when I moved to Kalamazoo, there was this rail that I always looked at, and he like disaster backsided this kink rail, and like I still just can't get over it because it's just such a crazy trick. And he Brian too is amazing.
The Second Coming, I wonder if that's on YouTube. I haven't seen that, I don't think.
I think so. Alex Beaupre made it.
Right.
Another really good Michigan skater, Jake Roose, had like I think the last section in that, and he was like also super good at street skating. Jake Roose was like probably the least known, like super talented blader from Michigan. And he could like true fish down rails. Like he was that good. But he became like a family man pretty early on. I want to say in like 2010, he was already done skating, but he was like also pro level talent for sure.
Yeah. Like through like things like 616, and because Night Hardware's from Detroit as well, isn't it?
Yeah, that was Al's
like
thing.
There's been like a long history of like being a productive scene, and you know, have like, you know, with shops and distribution, because there was the distribution company from there as well.
It was Integrated.
That's the one. Integrated. Yeah,
they were through Mark at 616.
Yeah, that's the one.
He had a warehouse there, so it was all I think USD and Dashi stuff.
Yeah, they did all the stuff for the States. Yeah, and so they've, you know, the area where you grew up on has like a long and rich history in blading, not just with skaters, but also with, you know, like Night Hardware was way ahead of its time in terms of hardware development. So yeah, that's what I was going to ask. So like obviously you've had sections out in the past. Which part are like you most proud of, or do you think encapsulates your skating most? Because when I see the footage of you at real street events and you're throwing things like hurricanes down terrifying steep handrails with like trees sticking out the side of them, but then I don't feel like I've seen stuff like that from you within your sections. I feel like I've seen like the creative stuff, and you're clearly amazing at jumping high, because you're one of the few people I know that does kink rails from like the flat at the top. You don't just do it from like the first down. You do it like, you basically grind every inch of a kink rail, and those have got to be high at the top.
It almost feels safer to me. Yeah.
How could I?
It's weird. I don't know why. Like,
Cool. So you can just
I'd
split it at
rather
the
start
highest
on
point.
flat than a down. Like, I don't know
Um,
why. It's just the way
but
I
I feel like you're one of those guys that throughout the years has just like got all your friends to film, and then you've gathered all the footage and then made it a section, or you've got a
Yeah, it's
random guy
definitely
to
how it's
film.
done. I've never like just worked on a part really, other
Yeah.
than I mean the FID section was like the one big part that I say probably encapsulates my skating the best because I did hard topsoil rail in that part and
Great. So
we've
the
been doing
one
that
part
for
I
like
haven't the
3 years, man. Like,
cool, the one part I haven't seen and the one part I can't see is the one that you think is the best example of your skating.
yeah, I'm sure I need to convince Zach to let me just post it because it's out there. But yeah, that one's just got a lot of like more hammery style street skating, I would say. Yeah, it's just kind of how it's always been for me. And like now it's like I have to like make my own part, which like probably takes away from some of the stuff because like I'm kind of in my own head about things where if somebody else made it, they could just decide for themselves. I don't really like making my own stuff, but I know that I kind of have to do it to get it done. I'd rather not, but at the same time, I kind of do like being in control. But yeah, I guess the FID section, I would say.
Right. Have you ever have you ever thought about approaching anyone to film a section, or is there anyone that you would like to work with that you think that you could work well with, or they could make something that like fits with your style or your vision for skating?
Yeah, probably Al or me and Hawk definitely want to make something too. Me and Hawk have been talking about doing a part for a while now. I just need to take the time to go stay with him for like a week or two in Ohio, and then yeah, me and Hawk have talked about it. He said he wants to make the part. Um, yeah, with Al would be cool too, but I feel like I would work better with Hawk. I don't know why.
Mhm.
Just I feel like we're on we have a better friendship. I would say nothing against Al. It's just like
Okay,
I'd probably be more likely to hang out with Hawk than Al.
that's fair enough. Yeah, I always find that really funny when you're like, see when someone says, I don't know, just you say, oh, like it's always interpreted that there's an issue or that you've fallen out or there's something negative when it could just be like, no, it's just I prefer to hang about with such and such, or you know, like for example, like that's how like beefs start in your local city because people go, oh, well, that guy doesn't like to skate with us, or da da da, or he like doesn't like
Oh
us, and
man,
it's like it doesn't necessarily mean you don't like the person. It just means you
yeah,
have your group of friends and you prefer hanging out with them. It doesn't choosing to hang about with one group of people doesn't mean you have negative feelings towards another group. It just means you don't want to hang out with them. That it can be just as simple as that.
yeah. I feel like that's how it is, man. And a lot of it's just communication. Communication can be tricky, but yeah, I feel like it's important to just say where you're at. And some people just don't like talking about their feelings, man. But I'm totally open to talking about how I feel. I don't know.
I felt like that was leading on to something else, and you just stopped yourself. But all right, I won't dig any deeper into that.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess if people like think that like I don't want to skate with them, but I don't know, then that really happens. But I guess like sometimes when I meet new people, like whether it be at Modern, like I don't know if people think I'm like not very approachable, but like I find myself like introducing myself to people more than people coming up to me. I don't know.
Maybe you're really intimidating and you don't realize it. Maybe people see you and they think, God, he looks like he's just
I
like
guess so.
growling at us.
I'll talk to anybody though, man. Like I don't know.
Fair enough.
I like
All right.
talking to people.
So you've got a new part you're working on. What's 2021 looking like? What are your plans? What have you got any like trips or events, or apart from this section that you've told me you've got 2 minutes of footage for?
Delta City. That's like the first thing, and then I definitely want to stay with Hawk for like a week and start working on something. We talked about doing a VOD But if we were to go down that route, I'd probably need to make a few trips out of it.
Hmm.
I want to make, like you said, I want to make something like good, like really good.
Oh,
And
like
I put my
don't
all into.
like yeah, don't misinterpret that. I'm not
Yeah.
saying, your sections are like sucked or like the skating is good. It just always
Mhm.
seems like there's something missing or like you haven't felt it. Like I said, it feels like you've got a bunch of friends to film and that's why it all just seems so disjointed or something. It doesn't seem
Mhm.
like a cohesive peach piece. The skating
Yeah.
is there. It's just
Yeah.
it just feels like the other elements are like haven't, come up to that level.
hmm Dude, Brian's told me that too. He was like, you need to just like make like one really, really good thing. And it's not saying that I don't need to do other stuff. It's just like I like want to make just like one like really, really good epic part and like I'm super proud of. Just to say that I did it and like have something to look back on and be like, this is what I did with my skating. And then do it again.
That's what I mean. Like, just even if it's for nothing else other than you can look back on that and say that is exactly how I wanted it to turn out, rather than being like,
Mhm.
oh, well, this is good enough. Like, or oh, we've got enough clips that I'm happy with for a good part. Let's put that out. Like, I would like you. I'm sure you would like it to be something you're like, this is the best that I can do. This is what I want.
Yeah, that's something I aim for, man. I'm always more about quality than quantity, especially when it comes to filming. Like I'd rather do like a trick that's like really hard and more of a challenge than to just do a bunch of like other tricks, you know?
I've noticed that from you in recent years, actually, because I've noticed that you don't tend to put out like more than maybe like one part a year in over the past like 3 or 4 years.
hmm Yeah, but at the same time, I do want to put out more stuff, but uh, maybe just like stuff that has more like I don't know, like a fun vibe to it, you know, whether it be just like skating a skate park or just skating like one or two spots. Like me and Brian always talk about this because like we're so focused on like filming the best part that we kind of don't just like fuck around and have fun and put like something really fun out there too. But we've talked about it. We want to do both. Like I don't know. I want to like Coda's the type of person that wants to just make like fun edits. You know, he's like less concerned with making just like this crazy part. You know,
Mm.
because like me and Brian kind of get in our heads about it. We're kind of like, okay, we got to do this. You know, and like Coda's just like, let's just skate and film it and make something. You know, so that's why I like skating with him too because we'll just like want to make edit. I want to do both, but I also want to make like an epic part.
I mean, I don't see any reason why you can't.
Yeah.
How old are you? You're like 25, right?
Yep. I'm gonna be 26 in June.
That's yeah, prime skating age. Body isn't too beaten up yet. Still young and full of energy. No kids. Perfect time to do it.
Yeah, no job right now.
No job right now. You've got no excuse.
Yeah. I start working again on the 29th. I'm
Oh,
like
that's soon. That's
the
like
fantasy dream world is ending. I'm upset, but
that's in less than a week.
yeah, no. I'm like I don't want it to end.
Better get your body clock back in check and start getting up early, because otherwise your
Yeah.
first day back at work is going to be a shock to the system.
Yeah. I'll be all right. But plus it's cooking, so it's not like I have to wake up at 8 in the morning.
Yeah, but
It's a 10 to 3 shift, you know.
10
I'll
to
be all right.
3.
Yeah.
That is a pretty all right, because yeah, I've worked in
It's
kitchens
it's gonna
before.
be chill. Like we're gonna start slow, so like I'm
Right.
still like I'm fine.
Okay. So we're not going to see you on Instagram much because you're not that guy, but we are potentially going to get at least a part or two, maybe two out of you this year. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, definitely.
All right. And new stuff's coming with sick urethane. Okay. Anything else you want to say before we wrap this up? Because I've interrogated you for at least an hour and a half already.
Uh yeah, I just want to say thanks for having me on, really. This is
Anytime,
my
man.
first like video interview. Yeah, I thought it was cool, man.
Well, the plan is for it to be so good that you won't go with anyone else now, and you'll be like, "Nah, that sucks. I'm not doing that." That's the aim.
Yeah, yeah, it was good.
Nice one,
So
man.
yeah, just thank you for the opportunity, and shout out to all my friends and everybody who's been hooking me up over the years. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, can't wait to see what you come out with next. Yeah, looking forward to the new section, and yeah, good luck with it. Until then, yeah.
All right, later, man.
All right. Speak soon.